Every actor can tell you about fishing. That's how it all begins.
Hey, my name is Linda Lou Linden.
Sandra Bullock. You remember her, don't you? The sweet but talentless songwriter in The Thing Called Love.
I couldn't get by those wings.
Guess not. How about the sexy environmental crusader in Lost Paradise? She did a nude scene in this one. Surely you remember it.
You don't know me.
No, but I want to.
Yeah? Get in line. Well, if that doesn't ring a bell, then you must recall her groundbreaking role in Love Potion #9.
I'm a comparative psychobiologist.
Just a few of the jobs Sandra Bullock took on while fishing for stardom. Yes, the girl next door has been around the block. If normalcy is her calling card, it's because that's what she wanted and never had. Both parents were opera singers, and Sandra often played extra to her mom's lead on the great stages of Europe. They were constantly going, moving. It was exciting, glamorous, and exactly the opposite of what Sandra wanted, stability. She got that at age 13 when her parents settled in Arlington, Virginia. Sandra made quick work of becoming the all-American girl. She left East Carolina University before graduating and did the starving actor in New York thing before moving on to the ever-popular starving actor in LA thing.
So how did you become bionic?
Wouldn't you like to know?
Her first big job was opposite the Bionic Woman and the $6 Million Man as a paraplegic given superpowers through surgery in the Bionic Showdown.
I was wondering if you would like to have sex.
After a string of mostly small parts and small movies, she was cast opposite Sylvester Stallone in Demolition Man. She found true love along the way with actor Tate Donovan, her co-star in Love Potion #9. Unfortunately, they split just before her career started to speed up.
Miss, can you handle this bus?
Oh, sure. It's just like driving a really big Pinto.
Watch it!
Never underestimate the power of public transportation. In the international blockbuster Speed, Sandra takes Keanu Reeves for a ride and proves to the world that she can act and drive at the same time.
How did this happen? He was pushed from the platform at the train station.
But you knew she was a star when she was able to hold together improbable plots by the sheer power of her personality. She's done that twice, turning the comedy While You Were Sleeping and the thriller The Net into hits.
You ever seen a man executed?
Sandra is now the $6 Million Woman. That's what she earned for this summer's A Time to Kill. Director Joel Schumacher's blockbuster adaptation of the John Grisham bestseller.
Genius runs in my family. So see, you'll be getting me on the way up, and I really think, now is a good time to, grab me. What do you think?
Next up for Sandra is the World War I romance in Love and War, in which she plays opposite Chris O'Donnell.
You tell me you know what to do with the scout.
In real life, Sandra is somewhat of a homebody. But home is now wherever she's making a movie. In the case of A Time to Kill, just outside Jackson, Mississippi, where she rented a house for 4 months and fell in love with a local goat named Alice.
Thank you very much.
Are you sick and tired of being called cute?
Well, you know what? It used to bother me, but you know what? I mean, to be called cute is, it's nice. And there's nothing wrong with nice either. I used to think that nice was a bad thing.
She's so nice. Yeah.
She's so nice, but you know what? Less and less am I meeting people that are truly and genuinely nice.
Is it better for you that success became something that happened relatively late?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, I still think, if it had happened maybe 2 years from now, that might have been ideal. But I think,
we see stars like Julia Roberts who make it at 20 and then have to drop out for a couple of years because it's all too much.
Yeah, I mean, what became of her was a phenomenon, but it was also a great thing for people like myself who were sitting there going, thank God somebody who was incredibly real and attainable opened up doors, because for so long I was looking at the screen going, there's no way I will be 36, 24, 36 and blonde by next week. So it was a great thing to have happen, and I understand.
What was a great thing to have happen?
Just that somebody like her broke a mold.
What do you mean? Because people compare you to her, you know that.
That's something that I find very funny because I don't see that. I mean, it's a wonderful compliment, but she's something that I don't think we've ever had. She reminded me of me in a little way, in the sense that there were a lot of imperfections that made her perfect, and I like that.
I have to ask you something that's a little difficult.
Okay.
But a few friends, I don't want to put it on somebody else, but a few friends said to me, the one thing we don't understand about Sandra Bullock, who is so open, is that you fumble about your age.
It was not just the age, it was sort of all of a sudden when I was doing press, it seemed like for While You Were Sleeping, the personal questions were just thrown at me and I was kind of caught off guard and I wasn't quite sure of how these things are done. I just said I was answering with none of your business to everything. It was to absolutely everything.
Okay, for the record, how old are you?
I've hit that 3-ish area where I'm now heading towards that hill.
Okay. What people feel about you is, gee, she's so normal. But you didn't have a normal childhood. What is it like to have two parents who are opera singers?
Loud. Very loud. To me, that was normal. You know, to me, that was a normal childhood. But once we got back to Virginia and where we lived, you quickly realize how abnormal that is. You are quickly aware of how different you are, and on no uncertain terms will other kids let you know how different you are.
And your parents are singing all the time, so people walk by the house and you hear them.
Yeah, in the yard, exactly. Mother, please.
What did you say? Shut up, Mommy.
Please, Mother, please.
Stop singing.
Exactly. I will pay you. No more allowance. You don't give it to me. No, it was very, because you're on the streets and these loud noises, barking noises were coming from your basement. So either it was some sort of torture chamber or it was, you know, Sandy Bullock's parents singing in the basement. So.
What did you say to kids when they thought you were sort of this, I don't know, European kid who had funny manners?
There was nothing that I could say for a couple of years. And I would keep coming home going, Mother, there's something not right. Nobody likes me. I don't understand it. And, you know, it's a sob story that everyone has. Nobody likes me. But it was actually the best thing that happened to me because I spent 2 years pretty much alone. And once I got to high school, I figured out what the game was. And the game was to dress like everyone else and to be like everyone else means to be accepted. And then something happened my junior year where it just snapped and I realized, you know, I'd had both sides and it just I sort of discovered who I was. You know, you kind of go around. Everyone has demons, I think, you know, they talk about the dark side that drives them. Yes, I have it just as anybody else has, but I'm not going to subject anybody else to it, you know?
Okay, what is the dark side?
I have a great fear of abandonment. Really? That somebody or people that I really care for will leave. So I've always sort of held people at a really good arm's length. You embrace them, but only to a certain degree.
You have talked openly of how much you were in love with Tate Donovan.
I knew what was coming.
Well, you have to. I mean, you've talked about it.
Yeah.
You had said that Tate Donovan was the love of your life.
Everybody has one that is apart from all the rest. And it was the biggest I learned the most in I guess it was a little under 4 years that we were together, because he brought out everything in me that was good, that was bad, that was sort of suppressed. He gave me a voice.
Are you over it?
I don't think you ever get over something that is honest. I hear stories of people saying, oh, I'm so in love with this person, and 3 weeks later they're in love with somebody else. It takes a lot for me to fall, a lot. And it's, knowing him was the greatest gift to myself, to my personality, and to my work in sort of opening the door. You know, he sort of taught me and sort of pushed.
You know, so often when one partner becomes more successful, especially the woman, I mean, I've done interview after interview where you see it happening, that the relationship breaks up, that there is
I don't think that's
you
it.
don't think that's it?
Not
You're
at
not
all.
concerned that now that you've become much more successful, it's going to be
Not
tougher
with-
to have a relationship?
Never in a million years do I think that success is what pushed, you know, a love away. That's not it at all. And it doesn't go away. It stays its very special place. You know, it's something that'll always be very taken care of, and I respect it and I protect that more than anything. And I won't let anybody cheapen it because, you know, two good, honest people. Just because it doesn't work doesn't mean that they can't stay friends and be two good, honest people. It doesn't make anybody the bad guy. We both made mistakes, and you go on.
In general, if one can be in general, do you want to be married?
I would love to be in a place where I go, I'm ready to be married.
But are you?
No, not right now. Just because I didn't feel like I was a good enough person and I had lived enough life and opened up enough to be a good wife and to be a good partner and to be a good mom.
Most people don't think that way. You know, they fall in love, they get married, that's
No,
it.
I've been so afraid. I've never been engaged. I've always been like, don't even think about it. I sort of put out that vibe at the beginning, so anybody that's with me has a hard time breaking through the shell.
Joel Schumacher, who is your director now, says he teases you when you talk about choosing roles. He says you've had 3 roles, one in which your co-star was comatose, one in which it was a bus, and one in which it was a computer. And you talk about choosing roles for a particular time in your life.
Yeah, and you know, I mean, I guess it sort of parallels not wanting to have anything get too close, you know? Yeah, I wonder why I did that.
Are you still trying to belong?
You know what, I think that's something that will inherently be a part of me the rest of my life.
Trying to please, trying to belong?
To please and overly please. It gets less and less every year.
Where do you see yourself in 10 years?
I've heard you ask people that question before, and I always wondered. That's the one question I was like, what is she going to ask me? Where do I see myself in 10 years? It's odd because I always said to my mom, she goes, how old are you going to be when you get married? I said, oh, I'm going to be, it's going to happen like when I'm around 35. Okay. And she goes, no, when are you going to die? And I was like, about 35. I always correlated the two, so I've always sort of had this agenda that my life was going to sort of be, and so maybe it was sort of like as a child, this sort of, you know, the dreamy, I'm not going to live to be very old, so I'm going to be very dramatic about things. So I don't know, I can't see myself in 10 years really. Nothing has ever gone the way I planned it, ever. So I have no idea. I would like to see myself a little more comfortable in just every day, a little more comfortable in just my voice, that I'm used to listening to my voice and be comfortable with it.
So instead of my saying all the time, how is Sandra Bullock? She's really cute. I can say.
She's cute. She's comfortable.
I can say she's comfortable.
She's comfortable. For right now, she's comfortable.